Good morning. What's up, buddy?
What's happening?
I see you got the memo to wear a beanie and a hoodie. Nicely done.
Yeah, this is my winter jacket.
Let's see if Jason shows up in a hat and a tank top.
We'll see.
Good morning, David.
Maybe. David
David's
is
11 plus.
wow.
Oof, David broke the scale. That's awesome, man.
The beanies are us. Let's open a store.
What's been going on, David? How was your holiday? How was your break? Where'd you go? I think I remember you saying you were packing up for something, but I don't think you told me where you were going. I'm just assuming to go see your kids and grandkids, or kids, not grandkids.
I wonder how travel was for most people. Was flying challenging this holiday?
Clue.
I don't know.
My buddy, we didn't get to talk much, but he leaves on Saturday. Like, he left Friday before the holiday week and then came back on Saturday. So he like adjusted a little bit to get out of the heavy travel days. But he didn't actually tell me. Like I said, we didn't get to talk much, so he didn't tell me how his trip went.
Mm-hmm.
But he does it every year, so I think he's used to the Thanksgiving hustle and bustle. Actually did some renovation over the weekend, and I did break a ceiling, literally. Shipping out to Eugene on Friday for 5 days. Okay. Where's Eugene? Do you know where Eugene is?
It's in Oregon. That's where the Ducks are.
Sure.
University of Oregon. I will say I always have a soft spot in my heart for Eugene, Oregon.
Okay.
I had to choose between two schools at some point when I got kicked out of my first college. I had reset my mind around things. And I went back to school to be like, okay, what am I doing? Because I originally went for business. I hated it. I just did not like college. I also went for just to play soccer, basically. Mm-hmm. And that I wasn't thinking. Anyway, so I found my love for biology. I found my love for marine science was like my main thing. And then as I was looking to get, kind of further my studies, I found the University of Oregon and I found Coastal Carolina as two schools. And I had to choose between them. And so Coastal Carolina had they just bought their own island down in South Carolina, like next to Myrtle Beach. And so I had to decide whether I wanted to go there and like do research like on their island in kind of like East Coast still, whatever. And then I had been accepted to the program over in Oregon, and I was really excited about it. Farther away, um, and then the one thing at that moment in time, and this is like being able to navigate higher education next steps in life with kids. I think I still didn't know exactly what I wanted out of college, because at the moment when I was like talking with some of the professors and learning more about the program, for the first semester I had to go live in a bungalow on the beach, on the Oregon coast, to study marine science and kind of get used to it. And my head was like, wait, hold on. I'm going to go live in a bungalow on the beach to do this research, and I'm not going to meet any new friends. And that was like a decision I made. And I was like, nah, can't do that. Got to go make friends. I mean, I look back now, I'm like, wow, that was silly.
I wish I was in
But
Oregon.
so I ended up going to Coastal Carolina for their program, which is a great program. And everyone always asked me, "Oh, how was being at school by the beach?" I was like, "I never saw the beach. I was in the chemistry lab for hours every single week, just like just chemistry, chemistry, chemistry." So that's really what marine science is. If anyone wants to go into it, it's not playing with dolphins. They'll tell you that in your first class. So
All right, nice. Yeah, it was like you said, navigating that, like what you're gonna do. Like your first college, like just went there to play soccer, didn't like business. Like to try to
I'm a
ask or
transition.
try to expect a kid, a teen, a new adult, any of that to like make that decision and it be the right decision and commit, 4 years to it, um, many of thousands of dollars uh, in either loans or grants or whatever. It's just a little wild. It's
Yeah,
really just, I mean, I think it has a higher chance of failure than success, if not like guaranteed failure. But there is some good in that. We all need to learn failure. I think that's one of the many first ways we all kind of learn our how to fail and then start over again.
for sure. There was a great podcast recently on the comeback. I didn't listen to it yet.
Mm.
But it was someone talking about it. Maybe I'll look at it and report back. But I think it was about kind of like losing everything and coming back. And then I was recently listening to another podcast. Someone was talking about like the typical story of like one of the people in the marriage wanted to like open a restaurant, and so they took all their life savings and took a mortgage against the house and put it all in the restaurant, and everything kind of was failing, and so like that was like a comeback someone was like recently talking about. And then when I think about that, I'm like, oh man, that is a but one, I think that I'm glad I'm hearing someone else's story of that. Should we take that risk? But like people are that comeback, that failures happen often. I hope those people are sharing that story with their kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important, but it's also difficult to like add that extra layer on top of your kids and not try to keep them in a hopeful mindset that like whatever they've chosen or whatever they're going off to do, that like it's hard to plant the seed of like, oh, by the way, like it's probably higher than likely chance that you're just gonna fail or that like halfway through this college experience you're not gonna like
Mm,
the major that you picked. So, just always keep that in the back of the mind. And is that more of like a planting a seed of like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Or is that like preparing your kid to just not put so much pressure on a decision that they made in their junior and senior year, or maybe their sophomore year, or maybe they made the decision way earlier. Like they always like Dee Dee always liked horses, right? So
Mhm.
maybe she's already kind of leaning towards that animal life, and she's narrowing her focus as she grows older, or maybe she grows right out of it. You never know. Um, but it's hard to say. And I think that's one of the reasons why parenting is, so challenging is there's no real right answer to any of this other than just being there, being a support system, and whenever they need you to talk things through. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like you're guiding your girls right now into that next stage, or
I'm
what's the
trying
thought
to.
there?
I'm starting to. Yeah, I'm really trying to kind of like have these little snippet conversations where it's like, you're getting closer and closer to the point where you need to make some sort of decision, but I want you to know that, like, no decision in life is ever really final.
Hmm.
Whatever you choose to do, as long as you give it an honest try and try to flesh out the whole idea, but always having an always having in your mind, kind of like almost like a knowing when to quit, or a knowing when when you aren't feeling it anymore. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just barely starting the conversation, a little late to the party, obviously, because I have a 17-year-old who will be 18 any moment now.
Mhm.
But we still do have one whole senior year, the second half of junior, and the whole senior year of school. And at this point, nothing's really clicking for her. Um, I but then that's also a little bit to do with the way that I'm living my life right now. Like I think stuff just comes to you. Like if you're open and ready for the opportunity, like a job can easily turn into a career. So if you're out there looking for just jobs and money and ways to support yourself, if you find that you love it, or at least love it for a little bit, you can easily just turn it into a career. Like you can grow into something and make a decent enough living for yourself and for a family. I've done that a couple of times, and versus like making this whole plan and like going to school for it and committing so much time and energy to it, and then it just doesn't work.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I think you do know. I think you do know. Don't say that. Don't say that.
I know.
I think what you do know, because you're saying it, is that it is that difficult, and I think that's why I've always said, after my experiences, was that I believe that higher education, or at least the experience of going away to college, if that's the route, and I think that it can be, I think not looking at it as like higher education as the primary reason for committing to it, it's about the learning more of who you are and the lifestyle, and making sure that you're
Mhm.
talking, okay, well, like, where around the country do you want to live for a little bit of time? What kind of people do you want? You're going to choose this larger school, and it's probably going to have a little bit more of a sports program that you can be a fan of, and that I think can be really fun for some people. Some people hate that, so it's like, well, why don't we choose a smaller school, in the southeast, because you've never been there, and that's going to help you grow. It's far enough away. Does the program, does your school, does it promote the idea of studying abroad? Are you living with people in dorms? Like, what's going, like, I think that a lot of times I hear, 'cause maybe it's when we grew up, it was like you have to to what you're gonna do the rest of your life, which is like, it's like, that's what you're saying, and I think that that's the wrong way of doing it. I think you're gonna go there and be able to learn it, and then kids get thrown in there. I remember hearing kids would take like a gap year, and I was like, "What is that? What is a gap year? You are a failure. Like, if you don't go straight from high school to you are a failure. That just means you're failing." And so, like, I remember thinking that. And there were the smaller college that I went to, like over in like northeastern Pennsylvania. At first, there was some pretty affluent like towns that were around there. And so a lot of the affluent um the kids that were coming from that area, they had taken a gap year.
Hmm.
And I didn't really see much difference in them, but, like, now I, kind of understand it. But then again, I guess a lot of them were potheads. So I don't know if it was, like, really beneficial for them. I don't know if it's really cool, but a gap year does make sense. I think that guidance is definitely huge. But it's hard, I
I
think,
think
as a
I
parent
think
to be like,
once my son turns 18 and leaves the house, I'm gonna take a gap year. Um, I
"Kill what a great idea." If parents could just take a gap year in some sense, right, without, like, ruining any like, is that possible? Can we make that a thing? 'Cause that'd be fun.
yeah, so what would that be? He's 6, so 12 years from now, so I'll be 54, so 54, 55. Just take a little gap year.
Yeah. I think MP knows some of these towns that was kinda like Doylestown over and I know you're in Jersey, but,
Parental gap year, that would be nice.
it's fair, so, yeah. I wonder what I would do. I know exactly what I would do with a gap year. Maybe we'll say that for another time.
Wouldn't you just go live in your parents' basement and smoke pot and watch TV? That's not
We
what a
never
gap
had
year
a
is?
we never had a basement, so I just have to smoke pot with them on their couch. That's what happened, yeah.
You're like, "Thankfully, they had a bigger income, so we were able to get better stuff."
Yeah, right?
Just kidding, mom and dad. Um, Jaystown isn't that far away. Doylestown.
Yeah, I know, that's why I said it because I am familiar with the geography of where you are, and then anyway.
Oh, careful, ornery Ryan is back.
Ornery oarfish. Oarfish are crazy. Oarfish, you know what? When you see an oarfish, right? Is the right fish? Isn't that like the end of the world fish? Is that what they call it? Because they like live in the depths of the ocean. So when they come to the surface, it means that some catastrophic event is about to happen. I love that about me.
I didn't go to ocean school. I went to flight school.
Well, did this happen to you? I learned more about the ocean and became incredibly afraid of it because of how much we don't know, and then the things that we do know. I'm like, who wants to do this? This is ridiculous. I was like, how do we even? Why are we here? I also my thing. It was like I definitely loved. I love marine science, but I wasn't into the animals as much. Although you had to learn about all of it, but can't talk. Marine science is very space oriented, so you learn a lot about like space, the planetary systems, and like all that kind of stuff because it affects everything in the ocean. The ocean, So,
Yeah.
um, I was very into the plate tectonics, and I wanted to understand how to know how the Earth was moving, and then be able to understand like the continental shelf shifts and all that kind of stuff too. Now thinking back to, it, I'm like, what the hell was I gonna do with that? But I really liked it. It was really cool. So my daughter walked to school on her own today.
Really?
Yep, she left me.
Nice.
She left me. Our kids,
It's
our kids, they're leaving us. We're losing them.
constantly losing them. Exactly. Nice transition.
Soft pivot.
That's awesome.
It was. I looked at like, she's walked to school on her own, but like after deep discussion. And
Yeah, of course.
we live across the street from school, so it's not like a big thing. But she said it very she was very nonchalant about it. "Dad, can I just walk to school today?" And
Mhm.
my first thought was like I say this a lot. I always say it's not about you, it's not about me, right? So she's asking to go to school, and so my first thought was a little bit against what I normally say, and I didn't say this, but I was thinking, "Oh, is there something that she'll get by walking by herself than with me?" And I think things of course, but like getting her little sister ready to go and like out the door is always a little bit of a hassle. So I'm like, I don't think she wants to deal with that right now.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I got it. So, it's this um, with today's reading about like we're always losing our kids because they're growing and they should, and we have to be able to let them go a little bit. My first thought was, yeah, of course, if you're asking, I want you to develop that confidence. Like, one, to ask, know you can do it, and then I will be here for you. And, whatever you really need. My biggest fear, no, it's not. It's one of my biggest fears is my kids not thinking they can come to me with a request or a question.
Yeah.
I never not want to be approachable.
That's cool.
She's turning 9 on Friday.
We'll have to get an update. We'll have to get an update tomorrow. See how it went, see how she felt about it, all that stuff. That's it. I mean, that's a good solid age for that. I'm trying to think of when our daughter walked to school. It was somewhere around third grade, I want to say, second or third grade. We lived about a block away from the school. The hardest part was basically
Mm,
crossing we had her cross the street right at our house because we're like kind of in the middle of the block. Um, and that way we could at least make sure that she got across the street, because then from there she was just on the sidewalk until she got to the crossing guard, and we
mhm,
knew the crossing guard. He was one of the most amazing people that we've ever interacted with in our life, just like the nicest, sweetest guy. Like knew the names of every kid, like parent, like just, he had like inside jokes with everybody, like, and so that made it way more comfortable, because the intersections at schools can be very terrifying.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think it was around that time frame, second or third grade, maybe fourth. I don't know. It's hard for me to remember.
Yeah, she's in 4th. I'm always bad with those things. So you felt her going on her own, you felt safe because that person was there. Did you feel
Mhm.
as if there was anything that using it loosely, did you feel like there's anything you were losing by watching her do it on her own?
I mean, a little bit, because it's always it's those moments like we're talking about that kind of slip away from you where you're like, oh, I didn't realize last week was the last time I was going to walk you to school. Like I didn't realize that like
Ooh, that
this
hits hard.
this was the last time we were going to hold hands as we walked to school, or like MP's saying, like get a nice squeezed bear hug because your his son is now giving him like the cool like side hug, like
Mhm,
in front of his friends or something like that. The good news is that there's a difference between what happens out in the public and what happens in private. So like, yeah, MP got a side hug out in public in front of his kids' friends, but then this weekend he'll get a bear hug from that same son. Like, so it hasn't like fully slipped away. It's just like the kids are adjusting on how they want to be seen in front of their peers. And maybe it's like the same with my daughter or your daughter. Maybe your daughter just wants to, walk to school so she can chit chat openly in front of her friends and not have her dad right behind her because dad's so cringe now. Um, but then she'll come and cuddle with you on the couch tonight as you guys watch a TV show, or she tells you about her day or whatever.
mhm,
Like
mhm.
stuff just kind of adjusts.
Yeah, I was thinking what MP just said, with MP saying that, the days of his son running to him and hugging him are over. I think my first thought is like, "No, it's not. Don't think that, because then when he does it, then you're not ready. You gotta be ready for it." But it was also making me think like there's been a little bit of like self-preservation for myself, knowing that that will end up coming at some point, and I love watching my daughters grow. I really I love watching my girls like just become, these like future amazing women, as their personalities are coming out and all that kind of stuff too. Um, and then when I think about it, I'm like, okay, well, I want to make sure that when those days come up, that I've already set myself up for uh, the next stage, which is never great because you're now thinking about the future all the time. But there's this
Mhm.
one move that I had done with my girls, and it's like they probably don't know that I was so adamant about making this happen. But if I see them and we're saying goodbye, because my daughter, my oldest daughter, has also kind of given a side hug, which is a little bit weird because like in school, like she's very physical, like she's just like physical love, physical touch, to the point. So I'm like, not gonna tell you to off me, but I'm gonna tell you it's kind of warm in here and I'm sweating. Don't want you on me right now. But as like we're leaving, we always do this thing where we like we kiss our thumb. We like throw our thumb in the air, or like we'll touch thumbs like that. And so like that's been my way to like give them a kiss or make sure that like we're doing that. And I was doing it this morning with my youngest. She was at the back of her classroom because we're still dropping her off, and I was at the front. And I was like, "Hey, DM," and we both did it. And like we're holding it up, and it made me think that someone was like, "Does that guy think he's like part of the Hunger Games? Like, what's going on right now?" Like, like does that look cringe? Are they now gonna hate that at some point? So it looks we're just like defiance. Like I don't know. It was funny, but that's my way of keeping the kiss involved and then making sure that they know that I see them. I don't know. So
Yeah, I love that. I love having a little thing, like, and that's the thing, like, that thing may never go away, like, depending on how you guys interact with each other. Like, you may not get the hugs, the running hugs. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say about MP is, like, that's kinda like a joke, but, if the days of the running to him and hugging her over, the easiest thing to do that is just leave for a week and then come back. It's kind of a joke, but, like, I get some of those running hugs, now that if I spend the night at my in-laws' house for a night or 2, and they're very excited, so just take yourself away from them. Getting hot in there, dude.
I wonder if that ends up creating some anxiety. Dad wanted hugs, so he left. So when he comes home, we have to make sure we give
Yeah,
him
we
a
have to
running
hug
hug.
him.
Oh, it's so true. It does make those. It really just makes life feel really good.
Yeah. Are you ready for this month? Like, the talk of death? I don't know that we prepared all of our audience for this, and, some people are new to the book, but this is the month where we
Mm.
talk about death a lot. Talk about time fleeting, in a good way, but it still does invoke a lot of sadness, but it's more of like understanding the reality of our situation. Like we talked about, like I talked about earlier, and like we all had these moments with our parents, and I don't think we probably didn't realize what was happening when we were growing up. Like we were just so excited to grow up and be responsible for our own actions and go off to college that we didn't, maybe not necessarily realize that our parents were losing us as a kid. And now here we are. That whole thing when you used to do something to your parents, they'd be like, just wait, you're gonna have a kid one day. They're gonna break your heart. Uh, yeah, kiss on the head is my move as well. Um, that I find very appropriate and easy, like, and doesn't require them to do anything. Like my girls are just sitting in bed or sitting in the couch, just a little kiss on the forehead. Yeah.
I was having this conversation about boundaries and, um, well, I'll say violation with sleepovers recently.
Hmm.
My oldest and um, I never say this, and I actually said this to her. I was like, you know that I never hide anything from you. I want to keep everything out in the open. I want to talk with you about things. I want you to learn. I want us to connect on what we're talking about. And so we were talking about sleepovers and getting to the point of like, her younger sister's asking for a sleepover. We're like, oh, well, Sloan didn't really do sleepovers until this age, whatever. And then we did this and whatever. Like the first sleepover she had, like Lauren, my wife said, had slept over the house. They did like a group sleepover, basically is what it was. And I feel like Sloan, we were kind of talking about like why we just don't let you sleep over anywhere. Like if you just ask, we just say yes, right? Kind of like when I was a kid, we used to do that. But she was like, "Well, why? I don't get it." And she kind of kept pushing it a little bit, and I was like saying it, and I'm not afraid to talk about things with her, but I was just like, I don't think her mind is ready for this right now. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't say this often to you, and like just we can take note of this right now, but like you might not understand why I'm saying it until you're older, and that's okay. But like, I'm definitely like, I'm like against the kids table at a holiday. I'm against like not talking with your kids about, emotions and stuff like that. But that was the first time that I was like, you'll get it later in life.
Yeah, it's kinda like the other subject we were talking about. It's hard to know when. I mean, you'll know when because you know her more than anyone, like you and your wife,
Mhm.
but, like, it's hard to know that time when you really drop a reality bomb on them. Like, you know, the true definition of, there are bad people out there, or, taking away, like we were talking about the other day, taking away something mystical. Um And it just, sometimes it's not right for that, and when they're asking for something, like to go sleep at a friend's house, it's probably not the time, to talk about that because they have a very narrow focused mind at that moment. They just want what they want. And for you to have a conversation about, well, I don't know this person, and what if this happens and all that, it's a difficult topic.
Yeah. And it does not mean, I mean, I'm sure you had the topic of like, strangers and safety and, trusting your gut if someone's making you feel uncomfortable, if someone's touching, whatever, like all those kind of things too. But yeah, I think that that's like, Mama Bear, the stories, like, your experience, what you're sharing, like that is
Mhm.
constantly on my head. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like, I can't even imagine my best, just gonna pivot back for a second. Um, anyway, yeah, so that's constantly on my mind about like what could end up happening, and there's something about my oldest that I get nervous about. Like she may not understand that it's like if it was happening, God forbid.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would know, and I feel like she is vulnerable enough, trusting enough. And so I think like my thing with her is kind of like with college. It's like don't pick a like I don't want to teach you to pick a college because it's going to be your profession. Just like I don't want to teach you a bit again like all those finer details of you being at a sleepover. I want to teach you what things mean in terms of like trusting your gut, like all these kind of things.
Mhm.
And I want you to know that I'm always going to trust you. So if you call me, I have no questions whatsoever. Call
Absolutely.
me. Here's a safety word, all that kind of stuff too. So it's constantly on my mind about it. And it's just like I feel like one experience can like and again now I'm speaking for people who have been through this, but I think that's like that one experience, like you can't take that back. So
Yeah. Yep. And I mean,
yeah.
it's one of those things that can't, having not gone through it, I can't tell you any differently, and I wouldn't. And, I wouldn't say, I would never say to mom bear, like, you should let your kids have a sleepover. Like, that's so, like, her experience is her experience. And I know the biggest thing on her mind is preventing her children from ever having to go through that. So, her being incredibly cautious and making sure to, prevent those things and set the boundary and the rule with her family,
Hmm.
like that's through her own lived experience. And that is perfectly fine for her family. My side having a completely different experience and my wife having a completely different experience, we are open to it and our kids are open to it. But yes, you could bet, like, if anything were to happen to our kids, it would be a completely different story.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's
We're getting
tough.
yeah, it is. I think it's tough. Um,
Now, this has been a topic that we've kind of circled back to many times throughout the years, or year and a half, 2 years. They came, they came home a mess. Yeah, yeah, it's true. I mean, when they go off and they're with someone else and someone else's rules, you know, as a parent who's had girls sleep over, like we we loosen up our rules so that the girls can just have fun and enjoy their moment. So there's definitely been times where, the next day they've all stayed up, way past a quote unquote bedtime. It's obviously on a weekend, not a school day. And you get some messed up energy the next day because they're all sleep deprived. Nice rabbit hole. Yep. Little rabbit hole. We go in them. It's already 6:05. Where'd the time go? Yeesh. Um, Mama Bear's hitting all the topics right now.
No, it's good. I love that. It's good. You know what? I don't think that our job is to be popular as parents, but we want to be loved and trusted and uh,
Agreed.
confided in. And so, no, 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 don't apologize. These are all good topics.
No, I mean
It's
that's
good.
one of the things about parenthood, right? Like it's not it's hard to not be, it's hard to not lay down rules and boundaries with your kids, but then also be liked and loved. And like it's towing a line, right? It's making sure that, like we've talked about in last month, that you have that relationship with them like David has with his girls, where they will want you in their life once they've become an adult and beyond, but also making sure that you're not just giving them everything they want and that you're feeling uncomfortable. Like if Mama Bear was like, "Sure, go have all these sleepovers," she would be a nervous wreck at home and
Mhm.
she wouldn't be able to handle that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's making me think what Mama Bear is saying over there is
yep.
that idea of like even when a kid makes a mess, because like let's just the analogy of like getting in a situation that's a messy situation and then being afraid to let someone know that you kind of like quote unquote like messed up or put yourself in that position or you know uh, however you want to define it, but it's like even when my girls like they may like make a mess, they spill something, it's always on my mind to be like, don't get mad, get glad. No, I'm just kidding. But don't get mad. But it's like my idea is like make the mess. I don't care. Like I'm like saying it as I'm angry. I'm like, I don't care that you made the mess. We can always clean up a mess. You just got to clean it up. That's all. Like let me know that it happened. And so it's like I can't help you. And this is something I didn't really know as a kid. I can't help you unless you let me know. Like they don't, do not
Mhm.
go through life thinking you don't have help.
Yeah.
And it's a hard lesson. So, but yeah, December being all about death and our kids leaving us. I think a little bit of me, like whenever I'm signing on, I know what December is, and I remember the physical feeling last year, or like at the end of December, being like, "Are we done talking about dying yet? Are we like how much longer is this gonna
Done when
happen?"
December is done.
Like it is, guys. It gets dark. Like what we're like.
Yeah, feel free to read ahead, y'all, and prepare yourselves. Or, just fly by the seat of your pants. We us though. We're not gonna always talk about the topic. We'll throw in some lighthearted shenanigans.
December 28th, this could be the day. December 29th, this is the eulogy you get to hear. Like you're like it's good. It's necessary. I think it is like it gets you thinking. Um, but yeah, there's definitely it's not about this stuff. Yeah, anyway, it's a dark month. It's good. I mean, it's obviously setting you up the idea of renewal. Um,
Mhm.
and setting goals and stuff like that. So
Ooh, no shenanigans. Always shenanigans. Um, Good stuff, buddy. Well, I hope that Salone had a good day, had a good walk to school. Is she planning on walking back by herself as well?
no, she's a busy girl. Lauren's been doing really good at coordinating, but she gets
Oh,
picked
she
up.
got after stuff?
She's got theater, she's got
Mhm.
gymnastics, she's got dance.
Nice.
Sometimes I'm like, "Are you okay?" A
Blink
lot.
twice if mom is scheduling too much for you and you need dad to step in.
There's always been and I'll say this lovingly, but it's like sometimes I'm like, "Are you living vicariously through your child?"
Yeah.
Um, and so, I think she's like, "I am." So
Yes.
I'm like, "Just make sure you take care of her so she doesn't feel
It's
overwhelmed,"
okay as long as you admit it.
you know? So,
Yeah, I feel the same way about my daughter, the older one.
yeah.
All right, man. See you tomorrow. See everybody
Uh,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Thank y'all for showing up, hanging out with me.
Love you guys.
Love you all. Have a great day. Stay warm for those of you in the snow right now. MP's just like trying to listen to us while his snowblower is like overpowering all of the sound of our voice. I think he just gave up. He's like, I gotta go dig myself out of this dang driveway.
Snow is coming.
Why did I get so much land? Damn it. Hey, Dylan there, my lurker driving on the way to work. Good morning.
I
Hope
love
you're having a good
lurkers.
day.
Lurkers are my favorite people.
Yep. Yep. Okay. See you guys. Bye,
Bye.
y'all. Bye, Ryan. Thumbs up, dude.